Hi guys, Matt V's Movies back for another video, and today we're going to be looking at the Sinbad collection. I was lucky to get this at Christmas time. It's the Sinbad Trilogy from Indicator. This is a limited edition box set, and had the opportunity to watch all three of these films over the Christmas period, and yeah, I wanted to sort of do a bit of a closer look today and tell you my thoughts on this box set. So we'll get into that just after the intro. Okay, so yeah, this is a wonderful limited edition set from Indicator, and it's the Sinbad Trilogy, and it contains the 7th Voyage of Sinbad, the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, and Sinbad the Eye of the Tiger, all certificate U. So we'll just turn it on the side so you can see the side of it. Special visual effects by Ray Harryhausen, a wonderful stop motion animation that this gentleman gave us in many films throughout the years. And as you can see, this is an Indicator limited edition of 3,000 copies, and this is 1384. So if we just take that slip off, now you can see at the back here there's a wealth of special features and this limited edition set. You know, if you want to pause that and read. I haven't actually dived into any of the special features yet, but I have watched all three films. As you can see, the 7th Voyage of Sinbad, that came out in 1958, and the Golden Voyage of Sinbad 1973, and Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger 1977. So they've got 4K restorations, first 4K restoration of the 7th Voyage of Sinbad, 2K restorations of the Golden Voyage of Sinbad and Sinbad the Eye of the Tiger. I have to say that watching all three of these films, they look absolutely fantastic on Blu-ray. Sharp picture quality, really nice. So yeah, if you want to pause and you can just see all the special features. Okay, so we'll get the contents out. It's a nice hard box, this solid box, so that's really nice. And sort of that wonderful design of the signs of the zodiac, with all of the various characters from the three films. And then we get this wonderful booklet, which we'll have a look at, all about these films and Ray Harryhausen. And then we've got the three films. So we've got 7th Voyage of Sinbad, which is the first one. So it's packed with all the special features on the back. The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. There's all the wealth of special features there. And Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, which is the sort of more recent one, 1977. And there's special features on the back there. Okay, so very much like Arrow, these Indicator releases come with reversible artwork. So what I've done is I've reversed them so you can see the artwork. And what I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of information about the film and a little bit of trivia, and then just my thoughts on the 7th Voyage of Sinbad. So the 7th Voyage of Sinbad came out in 1958, and in the UK it was certificate U. It's an adventure fantasy film, and it ran for 1 hour and 28 minutes. Sinbad and his crew are lost and accidentally find an island of Colossa. He is attacked by a Cyclops, a giant whom he battles and defeats with the help of magician Sakura. The release date in America was the 23rd of December 1958, and this was directed by Nathan Duran. Story was by Ray Harryhausen, and the budget was $650,000. The box office took $3.2 million, and this was adapted from 1001 Nights, the books. Cast included Kerwin Matthews as Sinbad, Richard Gere as the Genie, Catherine Crosby as Princess Parisa, Nino Falanga as Gaunt Sailor, Alec Mango as Calip, Nana Dehera as Sadi, Torin Thatcher as Sakura the Magician, and Alfred Brown as Harufa. Now on to a little bit of trivia about the film. The Cyclops was given Satura-like legs so audience would know it was not a man in a costume. This was the first feature using stop-motion animation effects to be completely shot in colour. Initially, Ray Harryhausen wanted Miklos Rosa or Max Steiner to score this film. Charles S. Schneer persuaded Harryhausen to hire Bernard Herrmann instead. Herrmann's score was so well received and he worked so well with Schneer and Harryhausen, he ended up scoring 3 more of their films: The Three Worlds of Gulliver's in 1960, Mysterious Island 1961, and Jason and the Argonauts in 1963. Rosger scored The Golden Voyage of Sinbad in 1973. And finally, after making 20 million miles to Earth in 1957, Ray Harryhausen's interest shifted from modern-day sci-fi monster thrillers to fantasy adventures with monsters set in a romantic past. So on to my thoughts of this film. Yeah, this was great. Not seen this since I was a child, and yeah, I mean, you can tell it was shot in the sort of the late sort of 50s, but it's got a wonderful nostalgic feel about it. Some of the stop motion is fantastic. The skeleton and the Cyclops are wonderful in the film, you know, and it just gives you a great sort of fantasy adventure. The restoration on this is absolutely fantastic. I do believe this was a 4K restoration, and it looks absolutely wonderful. So I would say highly recommend, you know, watching the 7th Voyage of Sinbad. The Golden Voyage of Sinbad came out in 1973, and again a fantasy adventure with 1 hour and 45-minute runtime. Again a certificate U. Sinbad and the Visor of Meribah are followed by an evil magician, Cora, as they attempt to get their hands on the 3 golden tablets that can provide access to the Oracle of All Knowledge. The release date in the UK was January the 25th, 1974. And director was Gordon Hessler. The budget was $982,351. And again, it was adapted from 1001 Nights. Distributed by Columbia Pictures. Cast included John Philip Law as Sinbad, Caroline Munro as Morgana, Tom Baker, one of the Doctor Who's, as Cora, Martin Shaw as Rashid, Kurt Christian as Haron, Douglas Wilmer as Vizsla. Now to some trivia about the film. Robert Shaw was a friend of producer Charles S. Schneer, who persuaded him to play the Oracle of All Knowledge in the film. Shaw agreed as a favour, but requested that he not get any credit for the role. Shaw was extremely popular at the time and felt that the genre was beneath him. His face was heavily swathed in makeup and his voice electronically altered by a sound engineer. Shaw was paid $5,000 for just 20 minutes work. The film helped Tom Baker get the role of the 4th Doctor in Doctor Who in 1963. Producer Barry Letts went to see it shortly after Baker was recommended for the role. And finally, when Sinbad and the others land on Lemura, a cliff along the left side of the beach is covered with carvings. According to an interview given by Ray Harryhausen, the cliff does not exist. The scene was shot on a popular beach in Spain, and the cliff was a matte painting added to hide all the spectators. So, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger came out in 1977, and in the UK it was Certificate U. It is a fantasy adventure genre, and it ran for 1 hour and 53 minutes. Sinbad, the Prince of Baghdad, embarks on a journey to free Prince Qasim from an evil enchantment. His journey is sabotaged by Zenaba, an evil witch who wants her son to be crowned as king. The release date in the UK was 1977, July the 15th, directed by Sam Wanamaker. Music was composed by Roy Budd. Box office was $20 million, distributed by Columbia Pictures and adapted from 1001 Nights. Cast included Patrick Wayne as Sinbad, Tarim Power as Dion, Jane Seymour as Farah, Patrick Troughton as Mathalanis, Damien Thomas as Qasim, Bruno Bernard as Balasora, Nadim Sawala as Hassan, Kurt Christian as Rafi, and Bernard Kay as Zandibd. Margaret Whiting was Zenabi, and David Stern as Adub Seer. So on to some trivia about the film. An uncredited Peter Mayhew is the live suit actor stand-in for the stop-motion Minotaur, the bronze mechanical Minotaur, whose name is Porthamanuth of Minotaur and Automation. Before filming, Mayhew was a hospital attendant at King's College Hospital in London. Producer Charles S. Schreiner saw Mayhew's photo, in which he was literally standing above the crowd around him. This was Mayhew's very first role, right before his famous role of Chewbacca in Star Wars A New Hope. Both films were released in 1977, and Star Wars was released 3 months before this film. Animator Ray Harryhausen was forced to create a mechanical baboon. An actual baboon would have been difficult, if not impossible, to train. At $3.5 million, the film was the costliest of Ray Harryhausen's Sinbad Trilogy. It was also the second costliest Ray Harryhausen film in general, behind his next and last film Clash of the Titans in 1981, which cost $15 million. And finally, the troglodyte was originally going to be the guardian of good in the previous film, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, but was ultimately replaced by a griffin. Okay, so on to this edition, and again this is alternate artwork showing all the different scenes from the film. Again, I prefer the other artwork that was shown earlier, but there's your spine, and then again this is another 2K restoration, and again it's a wonderful presentation, packed with special features on here again which you need to dive into. Yeah, this was another fantastic Sinbad film. This is the one that I really remembered the most as a child. It was wonderful to see again another Doctor Who of Patrick Troughton in this film, and the beautiful Jane Seymour in the film. She'd obviously come off of the back of Live and Let Die. She'd been in a few years earlier. She was very popular in the 1970s, done a lot of films. Very beautiful woman. And it was great to see some sort of famous faces again in this third instalment of the Sinbad films. We got some great, some great stop motion in this. We got the big bee, it becomes like huge and has to tackle it. There's the Minotaur. As I say, that's some connection with Peter Mayhew, which is interesting. The giant walrus towards the end, and there's that classic scene where they get to sort of Antarctica and they find the pyramid with this sort of you know, sort of Aurora Borealis sort of above it, and it's all mystical and magical and all the rest of it. And yeah, you know, they obviously take the character of Kasim, who is the been turned into the baboon, and obviously they're trying to get him back to, you know, a human, so he can become the rightful heir to the kingdom. So yeah, it's another fantastic film in this wonderful trilogy from Ray Harryhausen. You know, they're fantastic stop motion films, these. You know, you can still watch them today, and whilst maybe they're not up to the special effects that you'd expect today, there's just some sort of charm about these that's just wonderful. And hopefully for many more generations, they'll you know, be able to watch these films and, you know, experience this stop motion. So yeah, another great film. I'll also show you the booklet this comes with. So you've got Ray Harryhausen on the front there and on the back, and it's a really thick booklet, this, and so it goes into all the sort of quote there from Guillermo del Toro, all about the films, the dynamation process. Wonderful. And there's so much reading material in here. I'll just quickly flick through this. Shots from the film, posters. Yeah, there's a wealth of material to go through. All the behind the scenes. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And you can see the influences, you know, the sort of the modern day Tomb Raiders, where they got their sort of influences from. Yeah, it's just wonderful, wonderful fantasy. So yeah, really exceptional, you know, release this with this wonderful booklet. Lots of reading material. So guys, that's the Sinbad limited edition trilogy set. So a wonderful box set this, with 3 great films, fantastic restorations on all 3. Highly recommend picking this up if you don't have it in your collection. So if you're new to the channel and you like this sort of content, thanks for watching the video. Please consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell so you'll be informed when I upload this type of video. Welcome back to existing subscribers as well. Hope you're all doing well and keeping safe. Please give the video a thumbs up. That really does help tell YouTube that you like these sorts of videos, and it encourages me to produce more content for you, and it tells YouTube that yeah, these are good videos, you know, and they want to show more content to you. Please leave a comment as well. It's great to have comments. If you stick down in the comments below, you know, have you seen these films? Do you own these on DVD or Blu-ray? Yeah, it'd be great to hear your thoughts on, you know, whether you've seen these films or, you know, you want to know a bit more about them, etc. But yeah, stick down in the comments your thoughts. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm over there and I post pictures from time to time, so go and follow me on there if you don't already. Right, so that's the end of the video, guys. Take care and see you in the next one. Bye now.